The slide visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 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 okay. So today we discuss block 4, that is pedagogical approaches, in which the first unit is preschool teachers and teaching profession. Next is parent-teacher society interaction. And next is understanding child development methods and tools. And next is understanding improving child behavior and learning. Now, pedagogical guidance principles. So first we know what is pedagogy. Pedagogy is a term that refers to the method of how teachers teach in theory and in practice. The pedagogical guidelines and principles adopted by the teachers when they work with the students are: the students should be provided secure environment so as to achieve confidence in all the activities. Hence, the learning environment should be supportive and productive. The second is the students should develop communication skill which help them to be good listeners and to maintain good interpersonal relationship. They should be motivated to imbibe societal norms and culture and be good citizens and should be able to make plan for their life. Thus, the learning environment should promote independence, interdependence, and self-motivation. The student should be able to make wise decisions and solve problems effectively. They should also develop the ability to cope with emotions. So the student should be challenged and supported to develop creative and critical thinking and apply them. The learning program should take into account the student's need, his interest, and perspectives. They should be evaluated and assessed scientifically. Now, pre-primary teachers training. The success or failure of a preschool depends on the teacher, who is the backbone of the primary school. The achievement of the development plan of preschool education depends on, to a large extent, on the quality of the teacher education program in the country. Hence, it is important to have extensive teachers training program and improve the existing ones to promote quality education in our country. Now, components for pre-primary teacher training program. There are so many components. First is subject matter studies, which empower teachers with the subjects and knowledge base that they will then transmit to their students, that is language and mathematics. Second is pedagogical studies, which teachers with the skills for effective teaching. Next is in-class teaching experience, an academically organized opportunity for them to practice teaching in a classroom which is supervised by experts. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are clearly audible.
एक्चुअली सर मैरिज है पड़ोस में ना, तो वो थोड़ा सा डिस्टर्ब कर रहे हैं अब.
No issues, sir.
Qualities
Kindly continue.
of qualities of preschool teachers. Some qualities which a school teacher should possess. First is teacher should be a role model, an ideal teacher who through his thoughts, words and deeds gives an impression of an honest, upright life. The teacher becomes an embodiment of right conduct in thoughts, words, and deeds. The students, by their association, will learn values and develop many qualities. Every teacher must have a good personality. Teachers should be radiant, pleasing, and impressive in personal appearance and should have refined and pleasant manners. The teacher should have good mental and physical health. Teacher should have sound social philosophy. Teacher should possess knowledge, have the required professional training. Next is the teacher should be accountable for the progress of the children. Now, objectives of pre-primary teachers training. The first objective is to enable the teacher trainee to develop understanding of the psychological concept, principles governing early childhood and their relevance to early childhood education. Second is the principle and techniques of child care. Third is the principle related to systematic organization of institution and programs and maintenance of relevant records associated with these. Next is stage appropriate activities and learning experiences. Next is the inputs that could be pulled from the natural, physical, and social environment that could be utilized for the education of children. The role of parents, teachers, and their agencies in enriching early childhood education and care. Techniques of evaluating development of children in terms of stage appropriate developmental tasks. Next is principle and techniques of child study. To develop in the teacher trainee the ability to apply the devising, organizing, and executing programs in realistic classroom situation. To develop in the teacher trainee healthy attitude towards children and their development, empathy with the needs and problems of children, interest in programs for child development and care, attitudes helpful of maintaining healthy relationships with the parents and the community and other agencies. Next is to develop in the teacher trainee the skill to organize, program, and maintain and use record properly, design and execute stage appropriate activities and learning experiences suited for all-round development of children, identified and diagnose difficulties, deficiencies, and devise compensatory measures, identify and pool resources from the environment and utilize them, operate audiovisual equipments, coordinate program of various agencies systematically, conduct evaluation efficiently using appropriate techniques and tools, give first aid and perform the child care activities in case of emergency. Next is conduct case studies of children facing problem. Next is skills required for a preschool teacher. Skill required for a preschool teacher are good communication skill, good interpersonal skills, awareness about diversity, flexibility, patience, organization, creativity. Now, the characteristics of teaching. Characteristics of teaching are it has well-defined functions and well-defined nature and scope. It has a philosophy of its own. There are well-organized and fully recognized pro- processional organization of teachers. As professional practitioner teachers who are being substantially paid in recent years, the work of a teacher is presently demanding specialized professional preparation based on technology of instructions. Now the professional ethics to be followed by a teachers are: teachers should do nothing that cause disgrace to them personally or to the professional collectively. Teachers should adhere strictly to the codes of conduct established by tradition and by the great teachers of the past. Teachers should serve truthfully and honestly to realize the objectives and the functions that are expected of them. Teachers should be conscious and noble-minded as far as their professional activities are concerned. Teachers should not make the students suffer and should not be a part to the injustice done to them either by the school administrators or the authorities concerned. Teachers should respect their fellow teachers and should never speak ill of or do harm to them. Teachers should try to continuously strengthen their professional competencies so that they can serve the student to the maximum possible. Now, professional competencies of preschool teachers. Dimensions of teacher professional competencies are: the first is activity based teaching, second is child centered practices, third is teaching learning materials and display, next is evaluation strategies and remedial teaching, next is novel strategies. Now, measurement of teacher professional competencies. Teacher evaluation can be done in different ways based on construction and data gathering devices, which can be of four types. The first is in terms of the qualities of the person, as in personality ratings. Second is in terms of interpersonal qualities of desirable professional characteristics. Third is from data collected about professional competencies. Next is evaluation developed from studies of the product. Now, ability of self-criticism. Self-criticism can be developed as: consider your intention, be honest, avoid guilt, don't judge people by the same way, self-improvement, don't let pride get in the way, know your values. Next is seek opinion of others. Now, role of parents in education. What do the parents learn from the teachers and vice versa? We see that through interaction with the teachers, the parents are able to know how the child is getting along with others in the school and in the classroom, how the child is progressing in the schoolwork, how the child is taking part in the school programs, what attitude does the child have in the school, what recent changes have you noticed in the child, what special help might the child need, what is the level of child's participation in co-curricular activities. Similarly, the teachers have a lot of expectations from the parents, and more than that, they want to seek a variety of information about the children. If we analyze the situation, we come across the some questions. The first is: how does the child feel about the school? How does the school spend his spare time outside the school? What particular problem the child might have? What talents, interests, and hobbies the child might have? What recent changes have the parents noticed in the child? What special help does the child need? The next is major objectives of Parent Teacher Association, that is PTA. The major objectives of PTA, that is Parent Teacher Association, are to meet the needs of the children at home, school, and society, to understand the quality of home setup, to implement laws to care of and protect the children, to develop a strong relationship between the home, the school, and the society, to make joint efforts to help the child in his physical, mental, social, and emotional development. Now, programs to maintain PTA. Some effective strategies to maintain PTA are interpreting the school to the students, school exhibitions, school visits, home visits, news bulletin, news shelter, newsletter, organization of school survey program, organization of social service program, positive phone calls, report to home. The first is interpreting the school to the students. Most parents get the impression about the school in which their children are studying, not from direct interaction with the school, but from the comments given by their children, which may be casual talk. The second is school exhibitions. One of the most effective method of interpreting the school to the parents is by conducting school exhibitions. Third is school visits. In order to make better public participation, the school authorities should conduct school visitation program for the parents. During the parents school where children are studying. Next is home visits. If you were a student and one of your teachers is coming to your home to inquire about your studies or your progress, what will be your feelings towards the teacher and towards the school? We are sure that the child will develop a positive, affectionate attitude towards school and thereby he will concentrate on his studies. Now, news bulletin. The school can make regular contact with the parents by sending bulletins related to the school activities. Regular bulletins can be sent to the parents to report on significant aspects of work being done in the school. The next is newsletters. Newsletters can provide a steady stream of information from the school to the home and the society. A quality newsletter may well be the least expensive way of information families and societies of school activities. Next is organization of school survey program. Other than teaching, the teachers can do a lot of research and extension work by making use of the community and its resources. They can investigate about the burning problems of the community. Next is organization of social service program. Through the activities like NCC, NSS in the school can obtain the cooperation of the community and society and forum of social service league. Next is positive phone calls. Imagine the impact when parents receive phone calls informing them about the positive of child's status in the classroom, informing about any other program to be held in the school. Surely such phone calls will have a good impact on the parents' attitude towards the school. Next is report to home. The school can send periodical reports regarding the progress of the child to his guardian, or even the parents can come to school to sign the report. Now, importance of parental involvement. A student's performance is influenced greatly by the environmental, social, and economical factors. The reasons for underachievement may be growing up in poverty, inadequate learning opportunities, exposure to drugs and violence at home or school, lack of after school care, dysfunctional families, inadequate health care, neighborhood distress, few role models, poor nutrition. Now, difficulties in involving parents. Barriers related to parental involvement are first is family circumstances, second is geography, third is lack of confidence, fourth is unfamiliarity. The first is family circumstances. Parent may find it particularly difficult to attend meeting if they have a child who is disabled, have a baby or other caring responsibilities, work shifts, have a complex family structure with parents who are separated, and some might have new part, partners. Second is geography. Geographic separation is yet another important barrier in getting parents' involvement in the school activities. For example, children coming from tribal or hill areas have to travel long distance. Third is lack of confidence. As we see that many parents may feel uncomfortable in school surroundings. This may be due to unpleasant memories of their own school days, lack of knowledge or skill putting them at out of place, and having difficulty with reading or writing. Next is unfamiliarity. Many parents feel bad about being a member of the formal parent body. They think that it is not for them. Now, major factors of parental involvement. The first is parents' belief about what is important, necessary, and permissible for the children. The second is the extent to which parents believe that the parents have a positive influence on their children's education. Third is parents' perceptions that their children and school want them to be involved. Now, types of involvement. Parent can involve in the teaching learning process as create daily routine. Second is supervise out of school activities. Third is learning through hard work. Fourth is express high but realistic expectations for the achievement. Fifth is encourage progress of the school. Now, the first create daily routine. We know that child develops the quality of discipline from the parents from early days onwards. So at home they should try to provide fixed time and space to play, fixed time and a quiet place to study, assigning responsibility for household tasks. The second is supervise the out of school activities. As we know that if the child is not observed outside school, there is chance of him becoming a no, nuisance to the school authorities. So the parents should observe that a child is doing after returning from school. Third is learning through hard work. The small children learn by communicating through questioning, conversation, and demonstrating that achievement is a result of hard work. Fourth is express high but realistic expectation for achievement. Most parents will have a high aspiration regarding the child's achievement, and if the child is not able to rise to that level, they become exhausted. The parents should set goals that are attainable by the child. Fifth is encourage progress of the school. Parents should show interest in child's progress at school, discuss value of a good education and possible career options. They should keep in touch with the teachers. Now, activities for involving parents in children's home learning activities. Some of the activities for involving parents in children's home learning activities are home reading, second is activity bag, third is home kits, next is family lending library. The first is home reading. Children bring home a book to read. Second is activity bag. The bag contains two or three hands on activities which can develop different skills. Each bag contains a letter to the parents with the directions required for the activities. The activity bag with the instructions are sent home with each child for a week or 2 week, and once completed it is returned and then he gets a new activity bag. Third is home kits. Theme based activity kits are provided to the child and it is completed in a week and returned. Next is family lending library. The parent have an opportunity to check out books, materials, and audio or video tapes where the teachers demonstrate a skill. Children also have the opportunity to check out books, magazine, toys, and home learning activity kits. Now, understanding child development. In order to monitor the developmental changes, the teacher can use various techniques and tools. Some of them are observation, second is case studies, third is interviews. The first is observation. All sciences use observation as a method to obtain facts. Observation is the starting point of all sciences. It is systematic and deliberate study of spontaneous occurrences at the time they occur. One should know what one wants to observe, otherwise, a lot of important facts may be missed. It is the oldest and most commonly used method of child monitoring and child research. Observation provides the first insight into the individual's way of life, his physical health, social adjustment, and overall approaches to the situation. Now, types of observation. The first is informal observation, second is time sampling observation, third is unstructured observation, fourth is structured observation. The first is informal observation. Such type of observation carried out by the classroom teacher to evaluate child's performance, his work, his play, and his relationship with others in the group. As the name suggests, it is the informal in its organization. Parent and psychologist can conduct such observation to monitor child's progress in different stages of growth. In order to assess the progress, teachers and parents can use standardized charts and can compare the progress made by their child in the particular domain. The second is time sampling observation. Time sampling observation for a particular duration or a specific short period in conducted studies and researches have shown that such time sampling observation provides more typical picture of the behavior than the long period of observation. Such time sampling observation can be used to check the developmental domain of the children. For example, we can conduct a time sampling observation if we want to know about the responses towards a particular object during a particular age level. Thus, third is unstructured observation. In the case of unstructured observation, the child is studied in the natural setting when children go about their daily activities in a spontaneous manner. For example, a child may be observed while he is playing with his friends. The next is structured observation. In the case of structured observation, the observer looks for one or more specific and well-defined pattern of behavior by simply recording the frequency of its occurrence. For example, a preschool teacher observes the child during the midday meal by using various mechanical devices and audio-visual aids like one-way vision screen, sound recorder, photographic dome, motion picture camera. Now, recording. Observation may be recorded by two different procedures. The first is systematic recording and second is anecdotal record. The first is systematic recording. In order to observe the behavior of a child, we have to select the location first, then we have to select appropriate time for observation, and if necessary, use a standardized checklist or schedule. The systematic recording is particularly beneficial when one tries to pick up children who need special help in some areas. Second is anecdotal record. An anecdote is a word picture of significant incident of child's life which help to know him in detail. It records the actual situation observed. Anecdotal records help in understanding the role of past experiences in formulating the style of life of the child. Now, requisites of a good observation. Precaution to be taken before starting the observation. First is proper planning. Second is proper execution. Third is proper recording of observation. Fourth is immediate recording. Fifth is systematic observation. Sixth is proper interpretation. Now, tools used for observation. We may use different tools for observation like checklist and rating scales. The first is checklist. A checklist is a selected list of words, phrases, or sentences by which the observer records a check or cross mark to denote the presence or absence of whatever is observed. When a teacher wants to test whether some aspect of traits or personality are present in a child, the teacher can use a checklist. As you can see in the slide, first we put the name of the child, then male or female, and then age of the child, whether the child is regular in the class, yes or no, whether the child gives answer to the questions raised by the teachers, yes or no. If yes, whether the answer are relevant or not, whether the child has adequate previous knowledge in the subject. The second is rating scale. Suppose we want to know about the responses of the teacher towards a particular child in relation to a particular response personality trait, we can use the rating scale. Rating scale means the judgment of one person by another person for the assessment of a particular child. The rating scale may be given to the teachers who have sufficient knowledge of the child. A rating scale usually consists of a set of traits like co- cooperativeness, punctuality, honesty, and so on. If we want to know about the honesty of a particular child, while observing the child, the rating scale is used for rating the child. Usually, the degree of responses are indicated in numbers. It may be 1 to 3, or it may be 1 to 5, or 1 to 6. Comparison of 3 point, 5 point, or 6 point scale. As you can see in the slide, now advantages and limitations of the observation method. First, advantages. Observation method is one of the most economical method in terms of time and money. Second, it is a natural and flexible method for identifying the behavior of the children. Third is it is reliable and verifiable. Fourth is observation method is suitable for studying the developmental characteristics of a children's habits, interest, and other personality traits. Next is it is the most suitable method to analyze the behavior of an abnormal child. Now limitations. The award expressions contribute a limited percentage of the child's personality, and we are not able to observe what is happening in one's mind. The second is it is subjective and has personal biases. Extra emphasis may be given to one's behavior and may altogether neglect some other very important aspects. Next is for a particular trait, the response in the morning and that in the evening or the next day will not be the same. Now, case study. Case studies also referred to as life history method and investigate method for understanding and analyzing the child behavior, particularly the behavior of maladjustment, behavioral disorders, delinquents, and problem children who need treatment and counseling for their behavior. Now, types of case study method. The first is daybook method. The second is clinical case study method. And third is biographical method. Now, the first is daybook method. As the name indicates, the development of the child is recorded day by day in a book or in a register. A teacher may record the changes that happen to the child day after day. And if it is recorded, we will get a picture about his development changes. It can be used to compare the development of the child with other children. The second is clinical case study method. It is used for the diagnosis and treatment of the maladjusted children. A maladjusted children is observed under different conditions and situations. After observing his activities, behavior, and reactions to different situations, it becomes easy to know the definite cause of his problematic and maladjusted behavior. The third is biographical method. This method refers to the study about the child through the biographies or life histories. From the biographies of children, psychologist gets hints about his future activities, his attitude towards self as well as relations, interest, life goals, and future course of action. Now, advantages and limitations of case study method. Advantages: it is the highly reliable, it is the best method to know about the root causes of maladjustment. Third is it can be used as a tool for evaluation. Now, limitations of case study method. It is a time consuming method. Case study is usually meant for an individual case and ends with the diagnosis and treatment of the individual under study. A person needs to be well versed in adopting different methods and techniques. Now, interview. Interview is one of the most popular methods used for studying child behavior. Types of interview: structured interview, second is semi structured interviews, third is unstructured interviews. The first is structured interview. Structured interviews follow a set of rules. Each question should be read word for word by the researcher without any deviation from the schedule, and also includes bodily postures, facial expressions, and emotional effect. Reaction to participant responses should be kept to a minimum. We can conduct a structured interview to a group of children by asking the same sequence of questions to each and every child, and we can't deviate from the questions. The second is semi structured interview. Though the interviewer is expected to cover every questions in the procedure, they have some additional twist made by asking for clarification or additional information. This twisting of questions occurs depending upon the nature of the answers given by the child. Interviewers also have the freedom to be more friendly and sociable. The third is unstructured interview. In the unstructured interviews, teachers need only a checklist of topics to be covered during the interview. There is no order and no script. The interaction between the participant and the teacher is more like a conversation than an interview. Now, advantages and limitations of interview. First, the advantages of interviews. Interview is the best techniques if the parent is an illiterate. If the topic is very complicated to be understood by the child, interview techniques is suitable. It can go into details of the child or the person under interview in order to record the responses of the child. Interview is the most suitable technique. Now limitations. It is expensive in terms of money and time. If the teacher is not consistent, then he might feel distressed in asking questions to the interview. Now, improving practices through better understanding of the children. Usage of the methods used by the teacher to understand a child are: the teacher can analyze and evaluate the process of learning, helps to know about each and every child's level of performance, and help to identify the backward and slow learner. The second is it helps the teacher to plan suitable remedial teaching method. Third is the data collected can be used for further references. We can identify the child who needs more guidance depending upon the nonverbal cues given during interview. We can understand the kind of assistance that can be given to the child to make him properly adjusted with the social situations. Now, behavioral problems in preschool children. The term behavioral problem is used to designate a deviation in behavior to those expected or approved by the group. According to Harlock, behavioral problem is that behavior which makes life difficult and unsatisfactory for the child and his parents. He has classified problem behaviors into the group according to the way in which the interfere with the child and endanger with his well-being. They are as the child's efficiency, second is physical well-being, third is social adjustment, fourth is the feeling of being inferior or inadequate. Some of the behavioral problems found in preschool children are eating disorders, next is sleeping disorders, neurosis, temper tantrums, aggression, withdrawal, quarreling, negativism, sadness. Now, causes of behavioral problems. Some of the causes of behavioral problems are: if a child is suffering from genetic weakness or defects, it will make him vulnerable due to stress. Sometimes the problem may be due to the conflicts between his basic drives and forbidden environment. Next is problem behavior may be due to learned or conditioned ways. Some problems may be the result of the inability or failure or to meet the cultural demands. Now, child monitoring. Child monitoring means observing the behavior of children and check whether they are in the right track or some behavior problems have been exhibited by them. As you can see in the slide, in the first column, there are some activities: listening to teachers, going to school, third is following the rules, next is washing hands before lunch, next is participation in group activities, participation in group songs and action songs, sits undisturbed, respond to the questions, asks relevant questions, sleeps on time, sits comfortable in the class. Now action research. Action research is the research undertaken by practitioners so that they may improve their practices. Objectives of action research: first is progress in school practice, second is progress of teachers, third is improvement of the curriculum, fourth is knowledge enhancement of the administrator and supervisors. Next is steps in action research. The various steps involved in action research are defining the problem, second is analyzing the problem, third is hypothesizing, fourth is designing a test of hypothesis, next obtaining evidence, next is generalizing. Now the first is defining the problem. First of all, we should know the problem and it should be understood clearly so as to go ahead with solving the problem. Second is analyzing the problem. The second step is to analyze the problem thoroughly. What are the possible causes of the problem? How they are related to the teacher? Such questions should be asked to analyze the causes of the problem. Third is hypothesizing. The third step is to formulate a hypothesis concerning the cause or solution of the problem. The hypothesis can be formulated only after thorough study of the problem. Next is designing a test of hypothesis. After formulation of the hypothesis, we should think about the test or methods to be administered or experiment to be conducted to test the hypothesis, that is whether it is acceptable or not acceptable. Next is obtaining evidences. Obtaining evidence is another step in the action research. Evidence can be obtained by adopting several strategies like interviewing the child, observing the child, or collecting information from the parents, peers, and so on. Next is generalizing. Once we have got the results, then such results should be applicable to all such problems situations. Ability to generalize depends upon the authenticity of the evidences and the methods adopted for collecting the evidences. Now, uses of research findings. Some of the areas in which action research is carried out are study of the needs of the children, study the interest of the children, problem of discipline, social problem, problem of learning, improvement of curriculum, problem of teachers. The first is study of the needs of the children. The success of any educational system depends upon satisfying the needs of students. A pre-school child's need is entirely different from the primary level and secondary level children. So different process of action research have to be carried out for each level. The second is study the interest of children. The primary duty of the preschool teachers is to develop interest among the children. As they come from different background, they will have diverse types of interest, and most of them are interested to play throughout the day. In order to develop good habits and positive attitude towards learning, the preschool teacher should utilize the child's interest towards play. The next is problem of discipline. One of the major complaints that we hear from the teachers is the lack of discipline among children. Through action research, we will be able to know the causes of indiscipline and thereby making the teaching learning process effective. Next is social problem. Many social factors affected the learning process. Sometimes these factors may creep into the mental constitution of the teachers and the student. In such situations, we can conduct an action research to find out the root causes of such behavioral problems and thereby will be able to suggest some remedies to eliminate the problems. Next is problem of learning. We know that the process of learning depends upon the methods of teaching. The process of learning is also influenced by several factors like intelligence of the learner, socio-economic status of the child. If the child are found to be backward in the learning process, the teacher can conduct action research which help which will help them to know about the actual cause of learning problem. Next is improvement of the curriculum. The aim of education should be in tune with the needs of the demands of the society. To ascertain the suitable curriculum for a particular society, action research could be conducted. Next is problems of the teachers. The teaching may be influenced greatly by the personal problem of the teachers, especially because of his personality, domestic conditions, level of income, standard of living. In the preschool section, our system does not promote research by the teachers by providing sufficient financial support. Action research can help to identify the causes of the problem and help the teachers to overcome it.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, okay.
सर दोबारा से एक बारी केस स्टडी समझा दीजिए कि केस स्टडी हमने किस तरह से करनी है.
Case study.
केस स्टडी कि वी गिवन टू द टॉपिक.
केस स्टडी के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं ना आप?
हाँ जी सर.
Yes, okay. For example, a student or a child sharing toys problem. Okay.
ओके सर.
So in this case study may be organized. First of all, observe of the behavior of the child by the teacher. Talk to parents and discuss to the parents about the behavior of the child at home. Okay.
ओके सर.
So case study observe the behavior of the child. If there is any problem of the in the behavior of the child, the behavior may be modified by the action case study. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, well. I think we should end the session now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.
मोनिका, ये स्टार्ट ऑफ द सेशन में भी बताया गया था असाइनमेंट्स आपको 31 मार्च से पहले जमा करानी है एंड यू हैव टू डाउनलोड द क्वेश्चन पेपर फ्रॉम इग्नो ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट एंड राइट द आंसर्स अकॉर्डिंग टू इट. डाउनलोड द लेटेस्ट क्वेश्चन पेपर डाउनलोड करेंगे आप. ये बार बार बताया जा रहा है सेशंस में, प्लीज इसको खुद भी जान लीजिए और अगर कोई पूछे उसको भी सर्कुलेट कर सकते हैं आप.
जी हम सर, एक्सक्यूज मी सर, जैसा मैंने ना 24 का बना दिया है, तो अब उसका क्या हम कर सकते हैं? वो चलेगा
वो नहीं कर सकते. आपका ईयरली प्रोग्राम है. अगर आपका सेमेस्टर बेस्ड प्रोग्राम होता तो 24 वाला चल जाता. बिकॉज ईयरली प्रोग्राम है और आपको जून में एग्जाम्स देने हैं, तो आप मार्च वाला जो आपको सबमिट करेंगे वो लेटेस्ट ही करेंगे, जनवरी 25 वाला ही करेंगे.
ओके.
चलिए, वी आर क्लोजिंग द सेशन फॉर टुडे as the resource person have already left. Have a good day to all.